Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of the Independence High High podcast. I know who thought we'd get this far. I didn't. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? That's a good question. As always, start with the news. So, upcoming college visits that we have. Uh, Mostly it's a lot of UCs, which is very cool. I'm pretty sure that's what most people are going to be shooting for or trying to apply for. Um, we got Berkeley, Davis, uh, San Diego. Uh, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I went to the UC Santa Cruz one. It was pretty cool. It the In the description of the event, they said that they would also include UC application, like writing stuff, but they didn't really include that. I was kind of disappointed, but either way, it was still good. It's definitely useful to like broaden your aspect of what you actually need because a lot of people aren't taking in the full consideration of everything that the school requires of you, if that makes any sense. For example, at the UC Santa Cruz meeting, for impacted majors, like for at UC Santa Cruz, computer science is an impacted major. So to apply to it, if you want to major in computer science at UC Santa Cruz, you have to apply into it before you go to Santa Cruz. So you have to know if you want to be in computer science before you apply there. Otherwise, you'd be stuck not being in computer science. So that's definitely an important thing to take note of, depending on what college you want to go to. If the your intended major is available in the first place, and if you have to apply into it as a freshman. So going to these college visits is a good way to know what you need for the school you want to go to. If you ever want to attend one of the meetings and you have a class during that period, you can still just show up and you can get excused absence. There is a Red Cross blood drive Friday next week, the 27th, from 9 to 3 in the C Commons. Donating blood. I believe you need a permission slip if you're under 18. You receive a T-shirt and snacks, so really cool. Definitely check it out. It's for a good cause. It'd be fun. I don't know. And for scholarships, we have a really good $10,000 scholarship for any Latino students who are seniors or like graduates. It's $10,000. You need to apply. Apply quickly because only the first 1,000 applicants are going to be considered. Even at the uh, Even at the UC Santa Cruz presentation, the leader or the presenter highly encouraged taking all scholarship opportunities because so often these opportunities are left unfulfilled, like not taken. So it's a really good opportunity to go to where you want to for college because a lot of people, especially from the school from independents, are not able are money is the most important factor when deciding what college they want to go to. So having scholarship opportunities like these definitely opens up one's options. So definitely check it out. So speaking of scholarships, we have a great one called I don't know how to pronounce it, maybe it's something in Latin, Fiat Lux, Fiatlux scholarship program for UC Berkeley specifically. There is no application, I guess, really, according to this, but there is an interview to get the scholarship. Now, really cool. What this does is you get interviewed by some UC Berkeley person. You're selected based on your financial need, and you're interviewed by UC Berkeley. And if you get accepted, I don't know, they're not really clear on what they're going to be interviewing for. But if you are accepted, UC Berkeley will pay for your full tuition to cover any financial need any student would have. A standard budget of cost of attendance for UC Berkeley, and that is incredible. UC Berkeley, very expensive, very prestigious college as well. A lot of people want to go there. It's very famous, very high profile college. A lot of smart people come out of there. Very competitive college. So, and again, money is a reason why a lot of students don't even try to attend. But it's opportunities like these that like I keep saying, opportunities provide opportunities. So that's all the scholarships out of the way. We have the Robotics Club selling Urban Tea on Wednesday, September 25th. Pink Flamingo and Mango Passion for $5. Pink Flamingo is the superior flavor, so if you get Mango Passion, you are not my friend. And a good final segue to talk about before we head on to the interview is the support groups forming in the Student Center DO5, Student Support Center DO5 rather. So there is a Let's Talk for Girls or a Let's Talk for Boys in the Student Support Center, where you can honestly just, as it says, gain new coping skills, build your self-esteem, and understand yourself better. Learn to be more social with others. It's a really good way to feel better about yourself. So if you need help with that, go ahead check that out. That's a perfect segue into what the interview is going to be about. So let's listen to it. Oh boy, I can't wait to hear what the interview is, even though I recorded it. Please welcome guest six, I think. I don't count. Justin Monk, Jr.
Hello, my name is Justin. I'm a junior, and yeah, I'm your sixth guest on the IHHP.
Yes, thank you very much for being here. I'm sorry that I butchered your name pronunciation. I was thinking
Oh
of the word
no,
monk
it's
for some
fine.
reason. Yeah. Anyway, so give let's can you give a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about?
Sure. So I'll be talking about a few serious topics that mainly has affected my current life, and it should be affecting everyone's life, honestly. And one of which is mental health and how there's a crisis that's going on in the United States and how people are dealing with it. Um, and there's Edgar, who's also affected by it. How schools are trying to prevent everything that's going on, and my experiences as an honorary eagle, and how I saw it happening firsthand as an honorary eagle.
Okay, so that's a good place to start then. So, can you describe what an honorary eagle like actually is for people who may not know?
Sure. So, an honorary eagle is someone that volunteers before the upcoming school year to help basically hype up the freshmen towards the new school year. So, they would go into a freshman orientation, which is sort of like a rally, but only for freshmen. And we would introduce them to our school culture, its activities, and basically just invite them into a new life as a high schooler.
Uh, so that was during freshman orientation.
Right, right. So, um, one of the roles I volunteered to do was to basically go up to the entrance and number the freshmen uh, for the groups. And we had like around 13 groups, and they were all gonna, have fun. And I noticed that while I was numbering them, I had a Sharpie and I was like writing numbers on their wrists. I noticed that some of them had these scars and marks on um, the other side of their arms. And, I was thinking, oh, whatever, it's only a few. But then as more freshmen came, like it was at least like 1 out of 10 freshmen just came in. I was numbering them and they had these marks on their arms. And I was thinking, okay, this is not good. And if you don't know, like this is a sign of scars on their arms is a sign of cutting, which is a way that people use to um, um,
Cope with depression.
yeah, cope with depression. Thank you.
Mhm.
And you know, it really like change my mood for the rest of the day. Of course, I try to hide it because I wanted to be enthusiastic for the freshman, but like I yeah. So after that, I like the next day it just changed. It just changed me because that experience is very powerful in a both positive and negative way. It gives you an outlook on how mental health issues are affecting this generation, and most importantly, this generation that is coming to be um, freshmen. And so, if you didn't know, this year they put the National Suicide Hotline on the back of our school IDs.
Oh yeah, everyone was talking about that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pull up an article. I will link you it.
Oh, okay, put it in the description. Hopefully, I remember.
Yeah, I will send you on Discord. And basically, it talks about how there's a new law in California that requires schools to put the National Suicide Hotline on the back of our ID. And this is like a sign that, they're catching on to these issues. Because if it's serious enough to put it on, to make a law which affects every single high school in California, to put, a piece of text on the back of every student's IDs, it's a pretty serious issue. And, they're not ignoring it anymore.
Do you think that this is enough, or do you think that more action still needs to be done by schools and governments?
Yeah, I think this is not enough because, first of all, your ID, it goes in your wallet or your purse. You're never going to look at it again unless you're, asked for it. Or maybe like, when you're giving it to the person that scans for your textbooks and all that, you're never going to look at the back of it. That's not going to help at all because, of course, you're never going to look at it. You're never going to look at it, and it's just a piece of text. I think what they should do is, you know those anti-vaping ads, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, just replace those with, positive messages. And it sounds corny, right? But
yeah,
replace
but
them with,
yeah, like promoting mental well-being,
yeah,
promoting people to look for help from peers and as well as professionals.
right, right. And it's similar, sort of similar to the approach that school officials are doing, like inviting students to see the counselor anytime, health counselor. Yeah.
So, what active things are schools already doing that you know of, other than like, because I would say that putting, the suicide hotline on the back of ID card is not a very active thing. It's more
Mhm.
passive. What active things do you think schools are doing now, and what active activities do you think schools should be doing?
Well, on the top of my head, I can't. Let me see. I can't think of any. Uh, there was this one like assembly thing last year for people that are in PE. It's not related to mental issues, but rather towards sexual abuse and all that.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the ways that they're kind of actively dealing with this situation. But besides that, I can't think of any. I mean, that's a good reason why they should get started because it's, you know,
yeah. I think stuff like this, like the name or the number on the back of your ID card, and like maybe introducing these presentation videos, it's a good first step, but it still
mhm.
is not enough. It still needs to be further expanded upon a lot more.
Right, right.
Like I didn't even know that we had like a wellness center in our school,
Hmm.
where like you have like a room where you can just like be by yourself for a little bit and just think. And you have like we have actual like professional counselors, like health counselors, like you just said. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that until this year.
Are you talking about was it DO5, the Student Support Center?
Yeah, yeah, student support
Yeah,
center.
yeah.
I
Okay.
didn't know that was a thing until like a couple months ago.
Um, and I bring this topic up because I I was not in a good state of mind a few months ago, specifically like May to July, where school is ending. There shouldn't be any stress, but there was still stress,
Mhm.
and I had summer school coming up, and that was just like the downfall of my mental state. Um, I'm gonna tell you a story. The last day of school. So if you don't know, there's this place called Milk, uh, just a few minutes away from school, walking. And I decided to go there after school and just hang out with friends. The moment I walked in, I just got this really sick feeling in my gut and in my head. I looked around. I just walked around a bit and saw that there was just stuff that was overwhelming my mind, and I couldn't do anything because of all the stress that had accumulated, especially on the last day of school with finals and everything. And I just wanted to get out of that place, and I ran back to school, and I got picked up because it was too much for me. Uh, and it was the last day of school, so you couldn't really visit the counselor because they were not there, and it was after school. So don't quote me on that. I wouldn't know if they're still there after school. Um,
Yeah, I know from like I know that experiences like that are really scary, especially when you don't know what's going on,
mhm.
and you don't know why it's happening. You just know that it is happening, and you know that you need to do something, but you don't know what to do.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the most horrifying part of it all is feeling helpless.
yeah.
But as we've learned, there are ways to not feel helpless. So what are some ways that you would recommend, or maybe you've tried, or you would want to be tried, to to help our peers who are suffering? Like how to make it an easy topic.
Well, first thing I did was call the hotline, but they didn't really help because they just asked me, "What are you just asked me the same question you just asked me. What are you doing to try to cope with this problem?" And I just said, here's the answer to your question. I just said, I listen to music. I just calm myself down, just take a nap, and express my issues and my problems to other people. And that helped me for a bit. Like I was going 2 weeks strong without um, these thoughts that would constantly enter my mind. And yeah, and people, Etika, um, over the summer, if you didn't know, he passed away. He's a Twitch streamer. Passed away, and it affected me on a whole personal level because I was going through the same problems as him. And I'm going to read a headline from Polygon.com that says, "Too many people took Etika's mental health struggles as a joke." And before his death, people were, making fun of him. They were using the clown emoji, which, really easy to do, but it affects him in a way that, well, now you've seen what happened now. And uh, it's real. It's a real problem that people are just ignoring and making fun of. And now someone that we love is now dead, and it's just awful to see all these things um, being ignored.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
especially awful to see those people who can easily just flip like their stance whenever something bad happens. It's like they made fun of Etika before, and then when he was found dead, they they like felt they felt sorry,
yeah.
and that's horrible that they're just doing whatever the mass media does, just going along
Hmm.
with it.
And let me pull up another article. Um, Etika says social media is dangerous and says it could you up. It could give you an image of what you want your life to be, and it can be blown completely out of proportion. Uh, Unfortunately, it consumed me. He states. I think this is a he foreshadowed his own death, and it's just really uh, it rubbed him on the wrong way, I guess.
Yeah, it's really sad that what what even the technology that we have today that's supposed to be used to, you know, save the world, bring us all together, can
Yeah.
tear us horribly apart. Would you say that like media and this technology is the biggest reason why our generation in particular struggles with mental health issues?
hmm Uh, I'm gonna link you a clip. You can overlay it. This is what I mean.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, there are many different ways that people cope with it. I'm not gonna get into specifically how I did, but I can tell you a number of things that I really did in order to, help myself. And uh, in the long run, that didn't really work. Uh, Recent news, there's these deaths about vaping and how it suddenly sprung up and, you know, killed 6 people already. And, there's like a ton of media and other outlets that are making these into their headlines.
It's kind of a trend in our culture where we get these big headlines of like world shaking news, or at least they're presented that way, and then nothing's done.
Yeah, yeah.
Like with, gun control stuff,
hmm
mental illness stuff, everything. It's like a cannon basically. Like a cannon, it shoots at a wall, but the wall
Yeah.
just like stays still.
There's our generation blaming the older generations, like millennials versus boomers, and are we on Gen Z now? Gen
Yeah,
Z
Gen Z.
versus millennials, and I think this all should stop because age is just a number, and you can't change what they've done in the past, and all you got to do now is fix it. And what people are doing now with vaping is targeting the young, which but both negatively and positively targeting the young for and against vaping, and it's not worth the time to just make this a big deal because of course it's a big deal, but like in order to stop people from doing it, you gotta stop making it such a big deal.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining me and
hmm
sharing all of your stories and all your experience.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was great talking to you.
And thank you for having me. It it felt good to kind of release what I've been trying to say all this time.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, and thanks for making such a great show, podcast. Uh, yeah.
So thanks everybody. And we'll see you later. Thank you all for watching the Independence High podcast. It was very fun to record and edit for hours. I had so much fun. Okay. Thank thank you guys for watching. Seriously. Uh Subscribe, like, thanks. Do all that stuff. Spread it with your friends. Tell them, hey, check out this guy who talks for like almost an hour about pretty much nothing. Um, yeah, thank you guys for watching.